Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. And I know we've gotten to a point where we go to Google for everything. We trust Google. But should we? Does Google always tell the truth about us and our businesses? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And to have this conversation, I've invited Andrew Laws to join me. He is the founder of Yeseo, and he has been battling SEO for more than 25 years. When he's not in the office helping clients grow, he can be found in the studio on stage making very loud noises.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, Andrew, we're going to have this conversation. I want to know about the loud noises first.
Oh, the loud noises. So I'm obscuring it at the moment, but there's guitars here and synthesizers and drum machines and all kinds of things. I just always played in bands. In fact, everyone in my company is a musician.
Okay, that is an interesting requirement. If I had had that requirement, I wouldn't have had a company because I have zero musical talent. But I think it's a neat way to bring people together. But your company also came together around this topic of SEO, and I really want to dive into how reliable is Google?
If you ask Google, what do you think they'll say? If you said, "Hey, Mrs. Google, how reliable are you?" What do you think their answer would be, Lorraine?
Well, they're going to tell you they're great. Okay.
No,
They're
no.
not.
No, if you ask Google, so there's several really public representatives for Google, and if you ask them how reliable their information is, they say it's so. But it's interesting. A lot of people, there is this public perception that Google are accurate, and if you think that even Google don't say they're accurate, then that really blows things wide open, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Okay. So if Google is not really as reliable as we would like, that means number one, I need to be a little skeptical when I first start getting search results, and certainly now with the addition of their AI enhancement. But more importantly, when people Google information about me, about my company, how do I make sure that they're putting my best foot forward?
Well, this is where the smart business owner takes charge of their own information, because the only reason some of Google's information isn't accurate is that they're trying to gather an awful lot of information. The world is a big place, it really is. But
Mm-hmm.
if you own a business, you can sign up for a free business profile, Google Business Profile, and this is a conduit where it allows you to tell Google exactly what you're doing, and it's a dangerous thing because a lot of people don't bother doing it.
It's so crazy because that was one of the things that we really latched onto very early. But some of the resistance I got from some of my local clients totally got it. Oh, yeah, I want to be on the map. I want people to find me. But then I had clients who were national in focus going, well, what difference does it make if I have a Google My Business page in Indiana when all my clients are in Detroit, Denver, and Des Moines?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's very, very important. For one thing, it's a way of making sure Google has your information correct. But also, all Google is really looking for is trustworthy people with authority. When they put a link to your website in the search results, they're taking a chance on their reputation.
Mhm.
So if they link to wrong uns, if they link to kind of bad actors, put it that way, if they link to bad people, then they look bad. So
Mhm.
one of the places Google looks for information about your company is Google Business Profile. And this is interesting because you mentioned AI, and there's recently a bit of research that says that if people ask Google for information about your company, Google goes to Google Business Profile, they go and look at reviews, they'll go look at social media, they'll also look at your website. But if AI answers questions about your company, they get almost all their information directly from your website.
Oh,
So that SEO is still important. It's still important to have a good website. It doesn't matter if you're national, international, anywhere. You back up the legitimacy of your website by having a Google Business Profile.
interesting. Well, and for a lot of searches, and of course it varies by business, but if you're in a business that people search business near me, restaurant near me, shoe seller near me. If people search for your company using the words near me, I always think the Google My Business profile has to be rock solid.
It has to be rock solid, and something you need to make sure is that your address, well, they call it your NAP, but I really try never to use acronyms when I talk about SEO, but it's name, address, phone number. And some of the pushback I get from people on this sometimes is when I tell them that your phone number, your name and address has to be identical on the bottom of your website as it is on Google Business Profile, as it is on Facebook, as it is on any business directory. And the pushback I get is people say, well, I've only got an address. That's not true. I don't know what it's like in the States, but this address where my office is, it's 7 Bailey Close, Ipswich, Suffolk. But some people would call it Unit 7, Bailey Close, Ipswich, Suffolk, IP2, ATQ. Other people would put Hadley Road Industrial Estate, Unit 7. But see, there's all these funny little ways of saying your address in different ways.
In the US, it's silly, but if I say I live on Sweet Bay Court and I spell out COURT, or I use the abbreviation CT, or I just say I'm on Sweet Bay, it's that same thing. And street becomes ST, STR. Yes. And we don't even think about it. We write it a million different ways, and going through and like you say, auditing each of those.
It's a good way of thinking about this. Let's leave AI out of it for now. But the Google algorithm is like an enthusiastic toddler. You know when your kids are really, really young, and if a drawer's open a little bit, they'll go and pull the drawer, and they're in there and they're pulling stuff out from everywhere. But if you said to your toddler, right, you've just been through this drawer here, tell me exactly what's in it, they'll be like, stuff. I don't know. Google's like that. The Google algorithm's like that. So if you have your address or phone number or anything represented differently, Google's not very good at matching all those bits of information together. So it's boring, the audit, but it can make such a big difference to what Google understands you. I've got a little horror story that I can use to drive this home if you like, Lorraine.
Absolutely.
Right. So I mentioned I'm a musician. I bought a piece of musical equipment. It was worth about $600. And I got the little notification from the courier saying, your parcel has been delivered. And I was like, fantastic. And I looked around myself. Nope, no idea where my parcel is. And I checked the details, and it'd been posted to somewhere I had an office about 6 years ago. And I was like, not a problem. So I went to Google and I searched to see who was at my old address. And I saw the name of the company, and it said permanently closed. In the little side box, the knowledge graph next to the search results, it had the name of the company, a picture of the building, which obviously I recognized, and the red words, permanently closed. And I thought, that's awful. I thought, I'm going to drive over there anyway. Maybe the courier's chucked my parcel in a bush, or it will just be sat on the road. What do you think I found when I got there, Lorraine?
Was the business still open?
It was thriving. There was people in there chatting. There was people I'm making the action for typing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what their business was, but there were people typing. And I said to the managing director, I said, if people look up your business on Google, Google's telling them they're shut. And he just went, oh, I don't care, mate. That was what his accent was like. Oh, I don't care, mate. And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, well, how much money has this company spent on marketing? How much are they doing to raise their profile? And yet, 98% of searches start with Google, and people search for this company name. Google's telling everyone they're shut. They could fix it so easily, but they didn't care. But I did get my parcel back, so partial win.
Wow, win for you. You know what? You can't. My brother always says you can't fix stupid.
See, I always think you can't lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink, but you can't fix stupid. It's a lot more direct. I like.
Yes. That. Yeah. Okay. So getting the name, address, and phone number is really critical. What else can I do to keep my Google profile vibrant and interesting?
The easiest thing is honestly to get the app. It doesn't matter if you've got an iPhone or an Android phone, get the Google Business app, because they'll ask you to add things to it. They'll help you keep it vibrant. But one good way of keeping it vibrant is to reply to your reviews, even if they're bad. Be rise above, or take your punishment depending on how good or bad it is. But respond to your reviews really quickly. because it's a good sign to Google that you're trustworthy. It's a very good trust sign to other people that you're on the ball, that you're paying attention to your customers.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Oh, I've very much enjoyed this. Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah, I'm going to encourage everybody. If you guys are interested, you want to if you guys are interested in some of the things that Andrew has to say, you want to check out yeseo.io to learn more about how they approach SEO for their clients. Andrew, thanks again.
Well, thank you, Lorraine. It's lovely to see you.
Wonderful. This was so much fun. And if you're looking for resources for your business, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter at morethanafewwords.com. While you're there, you'll find hundreds of conversations just like this, white papers, webinars, and so much more. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.